Now, Britain's new Prime Minister Liz Truss has appointed her new cabinet, and for the first time ever, a white man will not hold one of the country's four most important ministerial positions. We will tell you all about the new appointments and the new faces at number 10 Downing Street. Kwasi Kwarteng has been appointed as the new Chancellor. He's seen as one of Truss's closest cabinet ally, and with this, he has become Britain's first black finance minister. While Suella Braverman has been appointed as the Home Secretary and will be succeeding Preeti Patel. Moving on to other cabinet roles here, one of Truss's closest friends, Therese Coffey, has been assigned the role of Health Secretary, and James Cleverly has been appointed the role of Foreign Secretary for the United Kingdom. Meanwhile, Ben Wallace has been appointed by Truss as the Defence Secretary. Truss's new cabinet will be meeting today and is expected to chalk out plans to steer the country out of the energy crisis. In her maiden speech as Prime Minister, Liz Truss has vowed to get Britain working again. She says her focus will be on growing the economy, tax cuts and reforms. Three things that Truss says will be the top focus for a government. Again, economy, energy and putting the NHS on a firm footing.
As Prime Minister, I will pursue three early priorities. Firstly, I will get Britain working again. I have a bold plan to grow the economy through tax cuts and reform. I will cut taxes to reward hard work and boost business-led growth and investment. I will drive reform in my mission to get the United Kingdom working, building and growing. We'll get spades in the ground to make sure people are not facing unaffordable energy bills, and we will also make sure that we are building hospitals, schools, roads and broadband. Secondly, I will deal hands-on with the energy crisis caused by Putin's war. I will take action this week to deal with energy bills and to secure our future energy supply. Thirdly, I will make sure that people can get doctor's appointments and the NHS services they need. We will put our health service on a firm footing. By delivering on the economy, on energy and on the NHS, we will put our nation on the path to long-term success.
Now, Britain is facing its worst cost of living crisis in decades, with inflation above 10% in energy bills soaring for both businesses and also households, of course. Truss's first priority right now remains Britain's spiralling energy costs, and there are reports that suggest that Truss will be implementing a cap on wholesale gas costs to effectively freeze current energy bills, a move that will shield households and businesses from soaring prices. Meanwhile, in her first call with a foreign leader, Truss spoke with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and accepted an invitation for her to visit Ukraine, further reiterating her support for the country in its war with Russia. Apart from this, Truss has also held a telephonic conversation with US President Joe Biden, where they agreed on the importance of protecting peace in Northern Ireland. Now, for more on this, we're being joined by our correspondent Alex Izat from London. Alex, thank you for joining us. Now, Truss says that the top priority as of now remains economy, tax cuts and reforms. You also announced a new cabinet. What can you tell us?
Yes, she's currently in the meeting with that new cabinet. So it seems that all the loyalists that backed her have got great positions within her new cabinet, and those that backed Rishi and were in the past government have been kicked out. And this is an interesting move from her, because ultimately there was talks about how she should try and unite the party, which has fallen apart at the seams since they ousted Boris Johnson. But she decided that she didn't want to try and get anyone that wasn't backing her on her party cabinet. And what's really interesting about this cabinet is that we talk about diversity. Well, this is the most diverse cabinet that we've seen sit in the House of Commons. We've got the first black person as the Chancellor in Kwasi Kwarteng, and they have the first female whip for the Tory party in Helen Ward too. So it's a huge cabinet change-up, and it's quite interesting for her point of view, because Liz Truss wants to show the country as a whole that, the past is the past and she needs to move forward. And despite the 12 years that the Conservatives have been in party, Truss is going to make her own stand and make her own move forward. We should be hearing later with regards to that energy cap that you mentioned there, and whether or not the money from that cap will come from government taxes or it will come from some other energy reserve or potentially loans. And that should all come out during the rest of the day. And what we've got to look forward to as well is the first PMQs, where Liz Truss will face Keir Starmer later today.
Right, absolutely. Also, talking about the position on the global stage, what sort of collaborations and cooperation can we see going forward?
Well, Liz Truss was Foreign Secretary in her role when she was under Boris Johnson's leadership, and she was always pushing for what she calls a geopolitical stance. She really does believe in NATO, and if you ask to join it and you want to play fair, then that you should. So she is very much been backing Ukraine in the side of the Ukraine war, and she really wants to be pushing forward and taking out those threats from other dynamic countries like China and Russia to try and make the world a safer place. That's what she wants to do.
Right. All right, Alex, thank you so much for joining us with all the updates on this. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.